Hello and happy Friday and welcome to today's Opto Minute. Today we're going to go to specifically our IIoT system architecture page on the Opto22 website. It's a story that's told in 15 parts and I like to skip to the end, books and all kinds of things, just to see what the final story this diagram tells. And it explains that our I would say it would be a preferred, I would say it's a description of an IIoT architecture that is relevant to the majority of IIoT applications. So let's break this down. Let's look, first of all, at this purple circle or purple oval here. This represents an MQTT broker. Now, mind you, this MQTT broker can be on the Ignition, Ignition Cloud Edition, can be just directly on AWS. HiveMQ, Azure, you have all these different options. You could also, this MQTT broker doesn't necessarily have to be outside of your premises. It could be inside your infrastructure, inside your factory, inside your company network. So this broker is the centerpiece in which you can now integrate any of your OT infrastructure. Now, I know most of you saying, no, that you're oversimplifying. Is oversimplifying to some extent, but those that know the power of Opto22 hardware, and here you see an Epic running Ignition Edge, you see an Epic running its native programs, and you see a Rio running Ignition Edge. By using Epic and Rio hardware at each of your remote locations, whether that be a machine, a factory line, a factory itself, a geographical region, a country, by putting it as the centerpiece or as the top layer to whatever in this red, pinkish areas, these are your existing OT infrastructures. It doesn't matter if you're going directly to sensors or PLCs that have been there running for up to 40 years, for example, because the Epic has the OT intelligence to be able to pull that from those OT infrastructures and provide that data via MQTT, yes, but also in a cyber secure format. What I mean by that is each one of these Epics has a firewall built in, has account access via LDAP that you can integrate into your Windows domain, has TLS encryption, both client and server side. And beyond that, also has the capability of giving you remote VPN capabilities, as we see here with OpenVPN, and being able to create all of that being able to create all those connections in a secure format. So this being the centerpiece and putting Epic and Rios wherever you need to pull that data, down to a sensor level, down to a machine level, up to a country level, it's the Rio and Epics that'll make that intercommunication possible in a secure way. Maybe we'll get into other parts. Well, let's go ahead. You can stop this video anytime. But let's look at this part of this SCADA, this part of the IoT architecture diagram. And you'll see here we're using a SCADA program. In this case, we're using Ignition, and Ignition allows you to create visualizations using their perspective and other packages, but I typically talk about perspective, and gives you that visualization capability on a tablet, on a PC, on a mobile device. And mind you, that Epic can run at your local site, could run at your on-prem, or as I mentioned before, could even reside on the cloud. So here you have one typical IoT infrastructure. Whether this be an outdated SCADA system, and you're talking or polling or directly to PLCs and thinking that's a good idea to maintain. I'm sure that was a good idea at some point, but it's 2024, and now we really need to start looking at these SCADA packages being able to cyber securely communicate with these endpoints and also be able to withstand communication breakdowns from your SCADA visualization to your data aggregator to and then at your OT location. And again, the Epic and Rios allow you to do that. And mind you, this isn't this isn't a commercial for Epic and Rios. The Epic and Rio that I mentioned is merely a great example of a culmination of open source tools in one nifty little package. Because here you're pulling in that data via Ignition Edge. You can run that on any hardware. Oh, you could run it, or you can pull in that data via Codesys. You could run that on just about any hardware. Or maybe you're pulling in that data via Profinet, Ethernet IP, Modbus TCP using Node-RED. That's running on the Epic and Rio, no additional cost. That can run on any hardware as well, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of capabilities that you can do here, and many of our customers actually do here originally, let's say on a Raspberry Pi or on a IPC or on a single board computer. But when it comes to scale, when it's time to get serious about the scalability, that's when they come to us, because we have 50 years experience in making industrial hardware. So that's, hats off to us for that. But along with that, a lot of those modules have a lifetime warranty. So that's how much we believe in our manufacturing capabilities and products and designs, as well as our aftermarket support. So here you go. Whatever your OT is, throw an Epic and a Rio on your top layer, and now you have a secure connection to normalize that data, and if you lose communication, you'll be able to save it locally. From there, if you use Ignition, you have all of Ignition's power to be able to intercommunicate, share that data, display that data, alarm that data, report that data, integrate it to MES packages, etc. So this is quite a long Opto Minute, probably my longest in a while. But there's a lot to cover in this just simple architecture diagram. And again, you get there from Opto 22, IoT system architecture, and I like to go to 15, but you could look at different steps here on how it takes you through that story. And there's a lot I wasn't able to get to you either. So happy Friday. Hope you enjoyed that cup of coffee along with this video, and talk to you next week.